Level 1, the amateur. The gym is above a laundromat, and the mats smell like bleach and old sweat in roughly equal parts. Coach Reyes doesn't introduce himself. He just points at the wall bag and says, "Hit that until I say stop." You've never thrown a real punch in your life, and your form makes the whole gym visibly wince. A regular named Kellen, 3 amateur fights deep already, offers to go easy on your first sparring round. He does not go easy. You spend the round learning what the mat looks like from very close up. "Hands up," Reyes says, for what feels like the 40th time that day. It will not be the last. You throw up in the parking lot after your first real conditioning session and nobody even looks over. That's apparently normal here. Someone hands you a water bottle without breaking stride. Kellen starts correcting your stance between rounds, which you eventually realize is his version of being nice. You learn to sprawl badly, then less badly, over the course of several increasingly bruised weeks. Your first wall walk drill ends with you face down and Reyes saying, "Again," in exactly the same tone every time. You tape your own gloves for the first time with medical tape from a gas station, badly, and wear them anyway. Reyes catches you shadow boxing alone after everyone's left and doesn't say anything, which you take as a good sign. Your first amateur fight is booked on short notice in a cage that smells like the gym but louder. The crowd is maybe 40 people, half of them related to your opponent. You get taken down in the first 10 seconds and spend most of round 1 figuring out how to breathe again. Somewhere in round 2, muscle memory that isn't really yours yet kicks in anyway. You win by decision, barely, and Kellen is the first one over the cage wall to grab your arm. Your gym bag is a duffel with a broken zipper you fix with a paperclip because you can't afford a new one yet. You lose your second amateur fight badly, and Reyes makes you watch the tape twice before saying a word. "You dropped your hands," is all he says, and somehow that's worse than yelling would have been. Kellen talks you out of quitting over gas station coffee at 11 at night, mostly by making fun of you. Your third fight, you remember to keep your hands up. It matters more than you expected. You win clean this time, no lucky scramble. Just the basics finally sticking under pressure. The night before your last amateur fight, you retape those same broken-in gloves out of habit. You win it, and for the first time, the 40-person crowd includes people who came specifically to see you. Kellen tells you, without a shred of his usual sarcasm, that you're better than he was at this stage. You learn to check leg kicks the hard way with your shin, more times than you'd like to admit. Reyes starts timing your rounds with an old kitchen timer that beeps twice before it dies for good. You spend an entire Saturday just working the jab over and over until your shoulder aches in a new way. Kellen shows you how to wrap your own hands properly for the first time, tired of watching you do it wrong. You start showing up an hour before class just to hit pads alone, and Reyes pretends not to notice. Your cardio stops being the worst part of practice somewhere around your second month, though everything else still hurts. Level 2, the prospect. Your first pro fight pays enough to cover the entry fee and gas money with almost nothing left over. You keep the day job for now, training before your shift and after it, running on very little sleep. The regional cards are hotel ballrooms and community centers, folding chairs instead of real seating. Kellen turns pro the same month, and the gym starts treating the two of you like it's actual prospects. Reyes adds real strength work to your routine, which mostly means you're sore in new and worse places. Your second pro fight is a late notice replacement against someone bigger, and you take the fight anyway. You lose a decision that's closer than it should have been, and Reyes calls it a moral win, which stings. A cut over your eyebrow from that fight needs 4 stitches and becomes a permanent reminder in the mirror. You fight through it in your next camp instead of taking the time off Reyes clearly wants you to take. You spend those 3 weeks doing nothing but takedown defense, some of it against Kellen, all of it humbling. The title fight goes to a decision that could have gone either way, and it goes your way by 1 point. Local paper runs a small write-up. Your mother frames it badly in a frame clearly meant for a photo. A manager who works with a few regional fighters starts showing up to your camps without officially saying why. He finally sits you and Reyes down and says the word you've been waiting to hear, the contract. The tryout process is its own kind of terrifying, a room full of scouts watching you drill like furniture. Kellen gets his own call 2 weeks after yours, and you find out you're both getting signed the same month. Tell your day job boss you're quitting, and it feels less real than the actual fight ever did. Your last regional fight before signing is less about the win and more about not getting hurt beforehand. You win it anyway, clean, because apparently your body forgot how to fight cautiously at this point. Buffin, Reyes doesn't say much when you sign the contract paperwork, just clasps your shoulder once, hard. Kellen frames his own contract page next to yours on the gym wall, uninvited, because of course he does. You retape the same worn gloves one more time before your first big promotion camp starts. The gym above the laundromat starts getting mentioned by name in interviews, which nobody there expected. You realize, packing for your first real training camp, that you've genuinely stopped being afraid of losing. You're afraid of something else now. Not being ready for what's actually coming next. You start studying fight film for the first time, pausing frames on your own mistakes over and over. Reyes has you spar 3 new partners in 1 week, each one built completely differently than the last. Your diet becomes an actual plan instead of just whatever's cheapest, and you resent every bit of it. You cut weight for the first time and learn exactly how much water a body can lose in one bad afternoon. Kellen starts a habit of texting you fight breakdowns at midnight, whether you ask for them or not. You buy real gear for the first time, shin guards, actual wraps, and it feels like a strange kind of promotion. Level 3, the contract fighter. Your first fight in the big show lands on the early prelims, before most people have even found their seats. The arena is enormous and almost entirely empty for your walkout, which is its own specific kind of surreal. Backstage, you recognize fighters you've only ever seen on a screen, warming up like it's completely normal. Kellen is booked on the same card, 2 fights before yours, which somehow makes both of you more nervous. He wins his debut by decision. You watch it on a locker room monitor, pacing the entire time. Your own debut goes to a slugfest. You're not sure you're winning until the scorecards say you did. The paycheck for that single fight is more than every regional purse you've ever earned combined. Reyes flies out for the fight on a ticket you bought him, and he acts personally insulted by the gesture. Media Day is its own event. Cameras, questions you've never been asked, a media wall with your name misspelled. You get recognized in an airport for the first time and don't know what to do with your face for a second. Your second big show fight is a step up in competition, and you get finished in the second round. It's your first real loss on this stage, and it feels different than losing ever felt back home. Reyes doesn't sugarcoat the tape review, but he also doesn't let you spiral over one bad night. Kellen shows up at your door with takeout and 0 jokes, which is somehow more comforting than the jokes. You rebuild your camp from the ground up, fixing exactly the hole that got exposed on film. Your comeback fight is a statement finish in the first round, the kind that gets your name trending locally. The promotion starts booking you on the main card instead of the prelims, a small line that means everything. Your gym bag finally gets replaced, a sponsor-branded one, though you keep the old duffel out of superstition. Kellen gets bumped to main card the same month, and the two of you end up on the same poster for the first time. A reporter asks if you two are rivals or friends. Neither of you has a clean answer for that anymore. You start affording an actual apartment instead of splitting rent 3 ways with 2 other fighters. Your win streak in the big show reaches 4, and rankings talk starts creeping into your interviews. Reyes tells you, bluntly as ever, that talent got you here, and discipline is the only thing that keeps you here. You retape the ancient duffel zipper with a fresh paperclip before your next fight. Out of pure habit now. The gym above the laundromat gets a new sign, paid for quietly by a sponsor without asking permission first. You call home to tell your mother you're officially ranked. She already knew. The internet told her first. You get your own locker for the first time, with your name taped crookedly on a strip of masking tape. A nutritionist joins your team, and your fridge stops looking anything like it used to. You do your first real press conference and spend most of it terrified of saying the wrong thing. Reyes starts flying out to every fight now, no exceptions, ticket or no ticket. You get your first real sponsor, a small supplement company that sends more free protein than you can drink. Kellen becomes the person you call first after every fight, win or lose, before anyone else. Level 4, the contender. Your first fight as a ranked contender is against someone who's beaten fighters you grew up watching. The camp for it is the hardest of your career. Full nutrition plan, strength coach, a real fight team around you. Kellen, ranked 2 spots below you now, offers to be your primary sparring partner for the whole camp. It's the toughest sparring of your life, and neither of you holds back the way you used to. You win the ranked fight in a 5-round war that leaves you needing 3 days just to walk normally again. The arena for your next fight is sold out, and the crowd chants your name during your walkout for the first time. It is, without exception, the strangest and best feeling you have ever had in a cage. A late camp injury threatens to pull you from your booking, and you fight through it against Reyes' advice. You lose that fight, your first setback at this level, and the doubt afterward is louder than any crowd noise. Reyes doesn't let you touch the tape for a week. Heal first, analyze later, he says and means it. Kellen's own title shot gets announced before yours does, and you're surprised how easily you're happy for him. You watch his title fight from a media row seat, on your feet the entire final round. He loses a split decision, barely, in a fight so close it takes the judges long minutes to read the cards. You're the one who shows up at his hotel room after, same as he once did for you. No jokes this time either. Your own comeback fight is booked as a #1 contender bout, the biggest of your career so far. The walk to the cage that night is longer than any walk you've ever taken, in the loudest building you've been in. You finish it in the 4th round, and the arena's noise, the second the ref waves it off, nearly knocks you over. Backstage, Reyes hugs you for the first time in the entire time you've known him. It lasts about 1 second. The title shot gets announced 2 days later. You read the press release 4 times before it feels real. Kellen calls you before anyone else does. Congratulations first, needling you about the belt second. Your gym bag has a small hole in the strap now, held together with the same brand of tape you started with. You fly home for 1 week before camp starts, and the gym above the laundromat throws you a small party. Reyes gives a short toast that's mostly him complaining about your footwork. You've never been more moved. Your team grows to include a dedicated strength coach, a nutritionist, and a full-time cornerman. You start studying opponents like homework, breaking down hours of tape before every camp. Reyes makes you run the exact same hill sprint he ran as a young trainer, insisting the hill builds character. Kellen starts training out of a real facility now, but keeps coming back to the gym above the laundromat anyway. You do your first real interview on national television and mostly remember your hands shaking. The gym starts putting up a wall of photos, and yours is the first one that isn't cut out of a newspaper. Level 5, the champion. Training camp for a title shot is unlike anything before it. 2-a-days film sessions, a full team watching every rep. Kellen flies in unannounced for 2 weeks of camp, no fee, no fuss, just because you'd have done the same for him. Media week for a title fight means a full circuit. Press conferences, open workouts, 100 versions of one question. The champion you're fighting has held the belt for 3 years and has never once looked rattled on camera. Your own corner meeting the morning of is short. Reyes says, "Hands up," one last time. You almost laugh. The walkout is the loudest sound you've ever stood inside of, and somehow your legs still remember how to move. The fight goes the full 5 rounds, closer than either of you wants, decided in the final 30 seconds. When they raise your hand, the sound in the arena stops being noise and just becomes something you feel in your chest. You're the champion. It takes a solid 10 minutes backstage before the sentence actually means anything to you. Reyes doesn't say much, just holds the belt for a second like he's checking it's real, then hands it back. Kellen is the first fighter to text you. No joke attached this time, just told you. Years ago. Told you. Your first title defense gets booked against the #1 contender, a fighter younger and hungrier than you. The pressure of being champion is its own opponent, one that shows up in interviews as much as the cage. You keep the belt anyway, a hard decision win that proves the first title wasn't a fluke or a lucky night. Kellen finally gets his own rematch and wins it, becoming champion in his own division the same year you did. The two of you end up on the same magazine cover, which the old gym frames immediately, badly, again. A third title defense turns into your toughest fight yet. A war you win by the smallest possible margin. Reyes starts training other young fighters at the gym, using half your own old drills without changing a word of them. You go back and watch one of their sessions, unannounced, and catch him barking "hands up" at a kid who reminds you of you. Your gym bag finally falls apart for real, and you replace it with a nicer one, but you keep the broken duffel anyway. Sponsorship offers stop being things you chase and start being things you choose between. You defend the title a 4th time, and the champion conversation quietly shifts to a legacy conversation instead. Your training camp gets its own dedicated countdown, taped to the gym mirror by someone who isn't you. Reyes brings in a specialist just for this camp, someone who's cornered actual champions before. You spend an entire month studying nothing but the champion's tendencies, frame by frame. Kellen keeps texting you the same 3 words before the fight. Hands up. Obviously. The gym above the laundromat gets its busiest week ever, reporters practically camping outside. You do your final camp session in complete silence, just you, the bag, and Reyes watching from the corner. The morning of weigh-ins, you catch yourself taping your gloves the exact same way you did for your first amateur fight. Level 6, The Legend. 5 successful title defenses puts your name in conversations about the greatest to ever do this. You headline a pay-per-view main event in the same city where you fought your first amateur bout for free. Kellen, still champion in his own weight class, is your official corner guest for that one. No fee, just showing up. Reyes, older now and slower on his feet, still makes the walk out with you. Same gruff face as day one. A young fighter at the old gym asks you, nervously, for advice before her first amateur fight. You hand her a roll of medical tape and tell her to wrap her own hands badly at least once so she remembers it. Retirement talk starts creeping into interviews, and for the first time, you don't immediately deny it. You fight one final title defense, not because you have to, but because you want to leave exactly the way you arrived. The fight is close, brutal, and won on pure will in the championship rounds, the way your very first amateur win was. Reyes tells you afterward that it's the best he's ever seen you fight. From him, that's an entire speech. You announce your retirement in the cage itself, belt still around your waist, crowd not making a sound for a second. Kellen is the one who climbs into the cage first, before your own team does, to be the first one to hug you. The gym above the laundromat gets renamed quietly with your name on the sign next to the one that's always been there. You donate your original taped-up gloves, the ones held together with gas station medical tape, to the gym's front case. A documentary crew asks Reyes what made you different from every other kid who walked in off the street. "Your hands up," he says, completely straight-faced, and refuses to elaborate any further on camera. You watch a new class of amateurs sparring badly on those same mats, wincing at their form exactly like the gym once winced at yours. Kellen's own retirement gets announced the following year, and you're the one standing in his corner for it. Reporters ask you, for the 100th time, what your legacy actually is. You tell them the truth. It's not the belt, it's every single rep it took to earn the right to hold it. From a torn-up duffel bag and a stranger yelling "hands up" at you, to a legend with your name on the gym door, you built every inch of it yourself. A magazine ranks you among the greatest of your era, a sentence you read 3 times before believing it. You start mentoring the gym's newest amateurs personally, teaching them the same drills Reyes taught you. Kellen and you do a joint interview reflecting on everything, and neither of you can finish it without laughing. Reyes finally admits, off camera, that he knew you'd make it the very first week you showed up. You walk past the old broken duffel bag in the display case every time you visit the gym, and it still gets you. A mural of your first amateur fight goes up on the gym's outer wall, badly proportioned and perfect. You watch the newest class of amateurs tape their own gloves badly for the first time, and it feels like watching yourself. If you made it all the way to the end, you're officially at the final level. Subscribe for the next journey, leave your ideas in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.